Okay, so for this video, I'm doing my redo on just showing the different angle. Hopefully I got everything. So I've got my sterile gloves here. I've got my Q-tips with my measuring stick on the end. I've got my two things of 4x4s here for wet and dry. I've got some here for wet and dry, and then I've got another ABD pad. Then I've got my sterile water, and then I've got my wound that's already dressed. Okay, so just going through it quickly, I've got all that. Before I get sterile, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the dirty dressing without my sterile gloves. Just use a regular clean procedure to remove it. So I'm just gonna remove the tape. This is still dressed from when I did it yesterday. I left it dressed. I probably should have done this off camera, so it wouldn't take up so much time. But when I take off the dressing, I'm making note of what type of dressing I have underneath, and I did this on paper, so it's kind of getting stuck. Okay, but I see that I have an ABD. Stuck to the paper. Okay, I have an ABD pad there, and I have a discard of that. I've got two 4x4s. I would discard of those. I'm noting any drainage. And then I've got some wet, these are my wet 4x4s that I had packed. I would discard of those, and I have on gloves right now. Okay, so now that I've got my wound nice and open, I would irrigate it, clean it as need be. Then I can go ahead and get ready to get sterile. I've got my tape set up here. Actually, let me go ahead and initial this with today's date, my name and the time. Okay, I can discard of my now dirty gloves, and I can go ahead and get ready to get sterile. I'm gonna set up all my stuff, so I'm gonna move my wound out of the way a little bit just to get my 4x4s and stuff ready. So I'm just gonna open, and I would open away from me and tuck, open away from me and tuck. And then what I'm gonna have for my wet, so I'm not gonna reach across, but this, I've checked the expiration date. This is my first time opening it, so I don't need to lip it, but I'm gonna date and time and initial it. I'm gonna go ahead and do that and wet my gauze. Now that that's done, I can set this out to the side. So I've got my wet dressing, my dry, and then I've got my ABD pad here. Now I can go ahead and get sterile. And I'm gonna make sure I wash my hands. I've got my Q-tips here. I'm just gonna open the pack a little bit so it's not so hard to open. And then I will open those out onto my sterile field. Okay, so I'm gonna open my gloves, and I'm pushing these over to the, actually I'm gonna put these to the side of me so that when it's time, when I get sterile, I'm not reaching across my field. Okay, my ABD here, over there. Okay, so now I'm gonna get sterile. I'm gonna open these away from me. And I don't have my scrubs on because those are in the wash right now. So that we can do. I'm using my 1-inch borders. Using my 1-inch borders. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my right glove. Using the cuff, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my left. Okay, now that I'm sterile, I can go ahead and push this over to the side. Now I'm gonna move my wound closer into my field. So because I got that sterile field there, I'm gonna go ahead and open my, I would have done it if I wanted to do this. I would have done this prior to putting on my sterile gloves, I'm sorry. But I'm just going to open this inside of here into my sterile gloves so that those are now sterile. But I would have opened that onto my gloves before I put my gloves on because that package is not sterile. So that's a mistake that I made. Okay, so now I'm ready. I've done my assessment. I know where my tunneling is at my 12 o'clock and my 9 o'clock position. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing my dressing change. So again, I know there were 2 4x4s. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm going to completely unravel this because those squares are gonna help debride my wound, help it heal. Completely unraveling it, and then I'll put it into my left hand, fluff it into my left hand, fluff it into my left hand, so that I can pack it into my tunneling. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Q-tip from my sterile field without reaching across. I went around, not reaching across. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start at the 12 o'clock position. So I'm just going to put this here, tuck it, pack it in there. Then I'm just gonna go around my wound. Go around my wound. Go around my wound. Go around, go around. And I've made it to my 9 o'clock position. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my other 4x4. Going to open that, open it all the way, open it all the way. Oops, I can go ahead and set that down there. Open it all the way, open it all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Okay, then I can go ahead and fluff it back into my hand. And I'm going to do the same here. Into the tunneling there. And then where the bone is seen, that's how I know this is a stage 4. I'm just going to pack that there. Okay. Okay. And I can discard of that. Now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and put my 2 4x4s back on top there. I've got 1 that was there, and then 2 that was there, and then my ABD pad I'll go ahead and put back. Got my tape here. I've got my long horizontal. I would tape, and then my last piece of tape has my name, date, and initial on it. And that is my wet to dry dressing change. Thank you.